Assalamu alaikum everyone, and I promised that I will be answering some questions relating to Ramadan, and I'm sorry, I know this is going to be a very quick session, but I really don't have the time, so I will try to answer as many questions as I can. And I would like to say I'm not a therapist, I'm not professional. I'm simply someone who runs a website, and I'm someone who's trying to create awareness of eating disorders in the Muslim world. So I had a lot of questions which were coming in, and people wanted the answers relating to Ramadan. So, the questions I've received, let me answer some of them. So why is Ramadan so difficult, and why it's such a challenge? And the reason Ramadan is very difficult because 11 months in the year, the months kind of belong to us. We have a free will. We can do anything. So this is, one specific month when we do have set rules. So whether you're fasting, whether you're not fasting, you still have to follow all those rules. So if you're fasting, you have to have follow their rules regarding the follow the rules along the fasting. And if you're not fasting, you still have to follow the rules. So it is, let me tell you, 1 month, when you are really, really challenged. And the reason you're challenged, because you've lived your life in a set way for 11 months of the year. And in this month, you really have to drop most of your things, And the reason people who are suffering from eating disorders, whether they're fasting, whether they are not fasting, they suffer more, they struggle more with the Ramadan, because if you're fasting, your fasting has to be according to not how you want to fast, but according to the religious guidelines, which means, you have to have your full sahur, you have to participate in all the religious activities. You have to pray, you have to read Quran, and you have to give the zakat, and give the charity, and look after your spiritual health, and be responsible for your physical and mental health as well. And by mental and physical health, what I mean is, if you're not eating properly, and if you're not following the guidelines along with the fasting and what Ramadan comes with, then you will struggle. And if you're not fasting in the month of Ramadan, that doesn't mean you are exempted from the whole month of Ramadan. You are still part of Ramadan, because you have to give fidya if you're not fasting. And then you still, you still have to eat, you still have to sleep, you still have to do all the other activities. And Ramadan is also about taking full accountability of yourself. So this is why it makes Ramadan very, very difficult, because full year we do what we want to do, but this is 1 month. Even I know that people say that it brings out triggers. Actually, no, it exposes you to the reality of who you really are, and how rigid you are throughout the year, how you want to your life. And then this is 1 month, these are certain sacrifices, and you will not make them because this is why you panic, because you are not willing to make those sacrifices, or compromise on the way you were living your life. So I hope this answers your question. So I want to fast this Ramadan, but I'm told not to, and I'm struggling. So, if you're told not to fast, sister, there is a profound reason behind it, because, you're not medically fit to fast. So you really have to, follow the advice of your doctor, and, what you have been told to do. And that doesn't mean you are not a part of a month of Ramadan. You can still participate. So, please, follow the medical guidelines, eat, when you have to eat, pray, participate in Ramadan activities, be part of the Quran club, and make this Ramadan about yourself, and participate in the family activities as well. And I know you said that you're struggling. Are you struggling that you're not fasting, or are you struggling that you want to fast? So because you have a backup, you have been told. So it's important when you're told to do something, especially when it comes from the medical side, then you follow it. Your reward is equally great. As I said to you, that in Ramadan, it doesn't matter. It's the 5th pillar of Islam. Whether you're fasting or you're not fasting, you're not exempt. Everyone in this Ramadan is included fully. So it's not just about, abstaining from food and drink. Ramadan is so much more. So yes, so please take that on board. So the third question is, should you eat by yourself or, with your family in Ramadan? I hate eating with everyone. This is such a tricky question because I mean, Islamically, we should eat with everyone because when you're eating by yourself, then you're eating with a shaitan. And I know that when you're like monitored, when you are eating with everyone, you feel everyone is looking at you. But in reality, I don't think so that's true. I mean, it's just, this is what is in your mind. And I think this is, one of the ED thoughts. I mean, again, I mean, why do you want to eat by yourself anyway? I mean, when you eating with everyone, you're sharing the blessings, and the blessings are everywhere. So I would strongly encourage, please be part of the blessings. And if people are looking at you, then I mean, that's something. I mean, I wouldn't say, it's something you should ignore. I mean, I would strongly recommend, I mean, please see who's looking at you, and maybe later on go and ask them why are they looking at you, because I used to be like that. And I honestly, I have to say, it was all in my mind. I mean, everybody was so focused on eating and getting, through the fatur, that no one really had a time to look at my plate or what I was doing. So yes, how do I help someone with bulimia? I'm so sorry. I mean, I know these questions came with the names. I mean, I was given because I really don't have time. So, I mean, I will just try to answer as many as I can. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying the names because it just makes things more complicated. So, how do I help someone with bulimia? I mean, okay, someone has bulimia. So, I mean, you're so lucky that, you are in a position where you have the knowledge that someone is struggling and you want to help them. So, well done. I really say that's so good that you want to take this step. How do you help them? Please, make them aware. I mean, don't be forceful, but have a very gentle conversation where you tell them that, you are concerned and the help is out there, it's available. So encourage them to get the help, because, bulimia is sadly one thing which simply doesn't disappear by itself because of the habits you have developed. And these are not the habits which are developed overnight. They take some time, and they do say that it takes like in 6 months. I mean, nowadays 6 months of active participation in ED behaviors, whether they are I don't know at whatever scale they are, there is a profound impact on the health. So please speak to them, try to be there for them. I mean, if they are always speaking about, they don't look good, please, always, compliment them, but, in a very good way. And don't make the conversation about the food. And I mean, do encourage them to get help, because it is, I mean, by you, tell them, you are always there for them. And even when they go for the help, offer them, that, your support is with them 24/7, inshallah. Okay. So can a person with eating disorder ever fast? I mean, that's a very, very, very good question. I mean, no one can answer that for you, because the decision A has to be made by a person, and B by the medical staff. So it depends which level of ED you are on. I mean, and whether what are your intentions behind fasting. So if you want to fast, you have an eating disorder, then I really I have to say that you have to be monitored. It has to be approved by your sport team. And if you don't have a sport team, I strongly encourage you to get online consultation with a therapist. And there are so many available now. You cannot say there is no one out there. Honestly, I'm telling you, there is so much help out there. You can get in contact with us, DM us. We will put you into contact with someone. It will take like 1 or maybe 2 sessions, and then they will tell you whether you can fast or no. So can they ever fast? Of course, they can fast, but it has to be done according to not to your guidelines, but it has to be done according to the Islamic guidelines. Which means you have to have a proper suhoor. You need to do everything which Ramadan requires of you, and then you have to have the fatur. You have to go for your tarawih, and read the Quran, do everything, and also, not engage in the behavior. So this is, one of the set guidelines when you are fasting in the month of Ramadan, whether when you have eating disorder. So honestly, I strongly believe that, a person who has an eating disorder, because this is not a terminal illness, it should not define you, it should not control you. You're not, it's not a above you, you are above your illness. So if you want to fast in the month of Ramadan and you really want to, then please, understand, yes, you can, but you really have to speak to the doctor, speak to a trained a therapist and get some help. And honestly, if you fast, please do make sure that, you are like doing the right things and there is someone there, to support you. Okay, can you use Ramadan as a month to lose weight? Absolutely no, you cannot do that, because Ramadan is not about going on these kind of fat diets, and then because then your focus has simply shifted from the spiritual cleansing. And let me tell you, Ramadan is designed to physically, spiritually and mentally cleanse you. So why do you want to give money to all these people and go on these fat diets when they are designed to fail? So I don't think so. If there is a strong medical reason behind it and your doctor is telling you to lose weight, then of course when it comes to from the medical point of view, then you can. But otherwise I don't think so that you should be using this month to follow this fad diet program. This month is already designed by Allah to cleanse you on all levels. So why take like these extra unnecessary steps and make it more difficult and take your focus away from the whole concept of a purpose of Ramadan? How do you deal with fatur challenges? What are the challenges? One of the challenge is the kind of food which is there. Okay, so you need to have if you are struggling with eating disorder, and if whether you are fasting or whether you're not fasting, I think you should be part of the fatur, because it's a very beautiful time. This is the time of intense blessings and making dua and coming together with everyone. So the challenge is, I don't see people panicking when they are having their their dates, and they're having they're opening their fast with milk. So that's okay. Even having water and something light, they're okay. The problem starts once they go for their salah and they come back, and then there is like this the buffet, this madness, they say, opens up, and then they struggle. I would strongly recommend you, please, you're struggling, so why make things difficult? Make sure you either get a help or make your plate before you go and do your salah. So when you come back, your plate is ready. Then just focus on your plate and don't focus on anything else. No one is focusing on you. Everyone is focusing on food anyway. And another thing is, the challenge is you feel that people are eating too much. How do you know they are eating too much? Everyone is eating according to what they feel they need to eat. If you look at the weddings, normally when the evening, if it's an evening wedding, you see people do eat maybe a lot, and the reason is because they skip lunch. So many people, when they come for the weddings, they don't have good breakfast, they don't have good lunch. So when they're eating, it's a time for celebration, and they are allowed to feast. At the Ramadan, yes, we have to exercise the moderation, but then we have to understand, in this time, you don't know, what is the requirement of everyone's body. So whatever they're eating, just focus on yourself and don't focus on them, and you will, inshallah, get through the challenge. Okay, how was your last Ramadan in Medina? What challenges did you face? How did you deal with them? Okay, this was, I have never ever in my life fasted in a Muslim country before. So last Ramadan, I was in Saudi Arabia, and I was there for like 50 plus days. I spent like 41 days in Medina. And while I was there, I did go on Umrah, and it was very, very difficult. I lost all the control, and for the reason, because in UK, like I come from Britain, UK, I always had a control. Even at the fatur table, I knew what was there. I was always involved in the preps. And so I always, all my life, I had control over everything. And all of a sudden, I go to this Muslim country, and I'm there, and I have no control. I absolutely have no control. I couldn't even decide what I wanted for fatur, because I was a guest, and my host, it was their responsibility, and they were feeding me, and I had to accept. So and one day I did. I made a mistake of returning the food, and they were so offended. They were so offended, and then they told me that you never refuse food. So I really had to give in. I had to submit. So it was a total submission, and I will be very honest, during the last 10 days, I have no idea, because the food was sent by a friend, which was delivered. I had no idea what I was eating. She was explaining, but I mentally switched off, because all of a sudden, I was, faced with this very challenging situation. So, you ask, so this was the biggest challenge, and I'm being very honest. I didn't expect I was going to be challenged in this way, but I was. And how did you deal with it? I simply, I was there for a reason. You don't get to spend full Ramadan in Saudi Arabia. Why? So I realized, if I give in to my illness, and I'm running around looking for my food, and I'm offending my hosts, it's not going to get me anywhere. This is about getting the blessings. It's about having a Ramadan in Medina. And so I really had to submit. It was a complete submission. I remember one day I was like, I thought I was eating yogurt, and I was given this fresh double cream to eat, and oh my God, I just couldn't believe it. So yeah, I lived, I survived, I'm alive. It didn't kill me. So how do you cope with an anxiety in Ramadan before Fatur? Okay, this is a very good question. We did this experiment on Nifs Shaban, which was like a few days back. So we had a 15th of the Shaban. So some of us were fasting, and so to see what happens. I don't know why I didn't do this exercise before. I think I did. It's in my Ramadan guide. Yeah. So we did this exercise. When people started panicking. So when they were fasting, the anxiety started at Asr time. Yeah. So this is, they were fine in morning because they had a very good sahur. They got through 11 a.m., 12, and 1 o'clock was okay, because, they did their Dhuhr Salah. So then, after the Dhuhr, they started panicking, especially at Asr. So, how do you deal with this? This is simply because, it's the anxiety of not having, not eating throughout the day, and maybe you are accustomed to reaching for something, maybe having a water, some kind of a sweet, some kind of a snack to calm yourself down. So, it is multiple things, and, it's also the time before Fatur as well. So simply, I would advise, this is the time, between 3 to 5, when your anxiety will, will start peaking. Go to sleep, have a siesta if you can. If you can't, then, listen to a Quran meditation. And remember, the reason, one of them, the anxiety was to do with, this is the time when she always had her coffee. So the coffee was not available. So one of them, they always reached for, something else, and that wasn't available to them. And then another person just had a habit of eating throughout the day, and now all of a sudden by 3 to 5 p.m. They really want to eat something and they can't. But alhamdulillah, once the fast opened, everybody felt so great. So always remember, this anxiety is very, very temp. And you listen to the Quran meditation, listen to Quran. Sit for half an hour. This will really, really calm you down. Do a dhikr, do astaghfirullah 100 times, and once you have completed astaghfirullah 100 times, you will be calm. Engage in some kind of an activity. If you want to go for a walk, go for a walk or something. But do remember, this is the time when you will start experiencing some kind of an anxiety, because you just want to do something. And this also shows you, it doesn't matter. Actually, whether you have anorexia, whether you have bulimia, whether you're suffering from any kind of eating disorder, we do take something to calm ourselves down. And and it's not just about staying away from the food. This is not available to us, so we are in a panic mode. So I hope I can get through Ramadan without guilt and bulimia and anorexia. It's hard. What kind of a guilt are you feeling? No one can ever have a perfect Ramadan. Because we don't have the knowledge. There are 2 billion Muslims in the world. All of us, we pray in different ways. Everyone's spirituality is on different level. How can 2 billion Muslims in the world have a same spiritual experience? And everyone, and I'm being very, very honest, whether you're fasting, whether you're not fasting, fasting. Everybody struggles in Ramadan. Honestly, focus on the people who don't have the Eid. Ask them, ask the mothers who are working, who have to come home, they have to deal with multiple things. And, they end up compromising on so much of their worship because they have to take care of their family, they have to go to the work, and they feel so much guilt. So, you shouldn't be feeling guilty. Just give your 100%. Remember your intentions, what your intentions are about Ramadan. Keep on focusing on them. And anorexia and bulimia, yes, always remember, you didn't ask for anorexia or bulimia. This is something, which you have. And inshallah, you will get through with the Ramadan. And honestly, once the Ramadan is finished, I know some people are like, oh my God, we're so happy it's over, but honestly, it does make you feel really, really good. I feel my stomach gets really big in Ramadan after Fatur. It makes me very anxious. I don't understand. Are you like looking at your stomach, once when you're having Fatur, or what do you do? How what makes you think your stomach is getting big? Let's see. You haven't eaten all day, yeah? I get you're fasting, okay? So you haven't eaten all day, and then it's the fatur time. So I'll give you an example. You go for a shopping, and your mother gives you a shopping bag. Now you have to come back, with the fruit. So of course the empty shopping bag is going to be full. It's going to, whether you have bought 8 apples or 12 apples, you're going to feel that the shopping bag there is something in there. Same with our stomach, of course it's going to show. When you have a baby and you're feeding a baby and you can see the baby's stomach is getting big, so are you going to tell baby that, your stomach is really big? It shouldn't be big, this is very, very natural. That's why Allah has given us, the clothes to cover ourselves. My anxieties over my looks get extreme. I feel at gatherings I'm not the best one. Okay, so I guess this is we have. I think you're from India. Yeah, so you're from India. So you're telling me about these fatur parties where you have to dress in white. Yeah. I don't know where the white comes from. It's all the colors are beautiful, but so anyway, so you have to dress in a white, and everyone is like supposed to look best. It's such a waste of time, because Ramadan is not about going to a beautician before the fatur party and looking a certain way. You should be like under a lot of anxiety that you just have to quickly eat. 20 minutes are enough for the enough to have something before your salah, and then maybe additional 20 minutes to eat your main meals, and then that's it, khalas. You have to run and you have to go to the mosque and do your tarawih. These kind of unnecessary activities can take place any time of the year. It's not necessary. And especially, why everyone has to dress up, why everyone has to have blow dry, why you have to take 1 million pictures. Don't you do that all throughout the year? Ramadan is not about that. And even when people come together, honestly, they should come together in a very humble way. It's about the prayers, it's about the blessings. It's not about don't you do that when you have these birthday parties, when you have I don't know, there is so much happening. I don't know, there's anyway, Instagram is full of this nonsense, when you have bridal showers. So, don't you do this all throughout the year? So you said, you feel you're not the best one. Why do you feel that, I don't understand. When your child, your child, he goes to the school and it's his first baking session, he comes back with a cake. Are you going to tell your son, your child, that your cake is not good? It's going to have many flaws. This is his first baking, so you're of course going to compliment it, because it's the best. When your child comes back with the first picture from the nursery, and these are the doodles, are you going to tell your child, these are not the perfect, this is not the perfect picture? No. Whatever your child brings to you, it's perfect. And this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way he has created you. Your mother had no influence on your looks, how you were formed in your mother's irham. This is the verse, it's Surah Al-Imran. This is how he is a fashionista. It's he, how he created you. And always remember, his love for you is unconditional. So the way he has designed you, fashioned you, you are, subhanallah, perfect. Honestly, So, I mean, have a confidence in yourself. You are the best, and don't compare yourself to others. I mean, this is completely shaitan. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, there are two flowers next to each other. One is a sunflower, one is a rose. Is a rose going to tell sunflower that you're yellow or black and I'm red? No. So, be comfortable and have the confidence in yourself, inshallah. With what's happening in Gaza, how can anyone have a normal Ramadan? No, you cannot have a normal Ramadan. This is something, I mean, I have emphasized on so much in Pakistan as well. And the reason you can't have a normal Ramadan, because you really have to be in the know. I mean, what is happening is so horrific. We all know that. So please, just calm down with these fatur parties and with these, lavish celebrations. Ramadan is not, it's such a personal time. I don't understand, where this lavish celebrations comes in from. And I would really say these, the countries which are throwing these grand, like, fatur buffets, they really have to think twice. Guys, you guys are bordering Gaza. You are at the, I mean, your neighbor, what is happening in your neighborhood. So please be very careful. Make this your dava, make people understand. Don't waste food, donate towards Gaza. And please make this a Ramadan, not about yourself and your illness or your anxieties. Make this about Gaza, pray for them. Honestly, the Khatam Quran should be, for them, the prayers. This Ramadan is all about Gaza. So, once, like maybe this Ramadan, don't make it about yourself and, your forgiveness and your uplifting. This will happen naturally, but focus on praying for them, please. Yemen, Urdun, I mean, Gaza, Libya, Lebanon, Sudan. I mean, Nicaragua, what is happening in DRC, I mean, Rohingya, Kashmir, what is happening in India. So, be in the know. Don't stay in this shell, where everything is about you. Make this about others as well. This is how the Muslims should be. So the next question is, what is the perfect breakfast? Okay, the perfect breakfast is going to differ from country to country. Please visit our website. We do have the perfect Ramadan recipes there. And honestly, the reason I call them breakfast, perfect kind of breakfast, because, they're not the random, breakfasts. They are there for a reason. And, there was a lot of research which went into these breakfasts, and they are designed, honestly, to keep you full, to keep you satisfied throughout the day, to give you the vital nutrients, so they're full of goodness. So your perfect breakfast is, which will keep you going throughout the day. Okay, so it's like, the doctor has told you you have a surgery in the evening. So before the surgery, this is how you have to get ready. So, this is what you have to do in Ramadan. Just, get ready and make sure you're eating the right thing. What why food is a challenge in Ramadan, and what is a perfect fatur? I mean, food is a challenge because you make it a challenge. It shouldn't be a challenge. And the reason is, because we have gone away from the hadith and the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have gone away from the concept of Ramadan. So Ramadan is not designed to kill you, to starve you to death, or, to dehydrate you. There is a reason why it's there, and it has been there for 1600 years. So food is not a challenge. So, just be sensible. And, I encourage this in Ramadan. Please, just calm down with, all these lavish faturs. Make it simple. Make a good quality fatur. So not focus on the quantity, but the good quality, which will take you throughout the night. And yes, so it shouldn't really be a challenge, and we make it a challenge. And the reason people with eating disorders, we struggle because food is our biggest enemy. We make food a challenge, and then all of a sudden in Ramadan, because everyone is in front of you, so you think it's a challenge. I feel struggles with Quran and Salah, how to overcome this. I mean, this is a perfect time for you to overcome your struggles. I mean, please get help, I mean, Ramadan is a perfect time. You will have every single kind of, help available to you. The mosques are open, the imam's wife, these, religious scholars, they're everywhere. So please speak to them. What is your spiritual blockage? And, why you can't, focus on the Quran? Is it your, attention span, whatever it is? Honestly, I'm being very honest, you can overcome. I mean, I am one example. I never used to pray. I had zero relationship with the Quran. I really, really, really struggled, and in Ramadan to finish a full Quran. My God, it was impossible. And look at it, I only got the perfect kind of a good Ramadan when I had my ED, and when I went through the recovery, when I started understanding about the Ramadan and my focus. And you asked me about Medina, another reason how I got through last year, because I was so focused on accomplishing a mission, which was I wanted to memorize the Surah Al-Imran. And so, I was so focused on that, I mean, it really helped me get through. So you have to build your relationship with the Quran. It's for the lifetime. With the Salah, you don't have a choice. You have to pray. So, don't focus on, what the Salah gives you. Just focus on you doing your Salah. Inshallah, everything else will come later. It's horrible. I panic when Ramadan starts. I'm relieved when it's over, but also very sad. Yes, everyone who's suffering with the eating disorders, they go through that. But, I've also spoken to other people. They also feel the same thing. They panic because, again, it tells you. I mean, if somebody asked me, 3 years back, not 3 years back, like maybe 7 years back, why I panic. And I panic because, I wanted it to be about me and my rules and my way. And Ramadan is not my rules. It's not my way. That's why, I used to panic. I speak about myself, and I used to be, I swear, Allah forgives me, I used to be counting the days when the Ramadan is going to be over. And then, when it was over, I used to feel the sadness because, this is the biggest gift Allah has given you, honestly. So the more you struggle, the more your reward is. So, just focus on the blessings, focus that even when you are you are struggling, Allah is watching, your reward is inshallah with Allah. So, honestly, just if you know the reality of the Ramadan, honestly, you would wish Ramadan was 12 months a year. How to connect more spiritually? Okay, like I'm in Pakistan. Like in every neighborhood, we have these Quran courses, so they start few days before Ramadan. So if you're in Bangladesh, Pakistan, in Muslim country, please, if you can go to these classes, do. They are online, Quran, Ramadan courses. Please go through them. You have to like sit for 1 hour a day. Please, please, please do that. Do your dhikr, do your Quran. It's about Quran, read it with the tafsir. I mean, you don't have to do the full Quran a day. I mean, if you can, alhamdulillah, but you need to understand Quran. It's about, Shahrul Ramazan, it's about the Quran. I mean, it doesn't, when the Quran was revealed. So, this is your everything. This is your partner. This is your best friend. This is what you have to connect with. So please, focus on Quran. I mean, you don't have to do one juz a day. I mean, even if you can do 4 pages a day, alhamdulillah, pick one surah, like for example, this is, Surah Kahf. The tafsir is by Dr. Yasir Qadi. This is so beautiful. This is so amazing. Pick one surah and connect, where the surah. I mean, like, it took me, I mean, many of you know, I know Surah Al-Baqarah by heart, and honestly, it took me years to memorize Surah Al-Baqarah with the meaning, with the translation, and I went through every tafsir, I mean, in Urdu, in English, and oh my God, I know all, like for me, the proudest achievement of my life is that I know Surah Al-Baqarah by heart. I know all the verses. I know the meaning. And, so make it about Quran. And this is what is going to save you forever. This is your companion. This is everything. So, yeah, make this about Quran. And, you're connecting spirituality spiritually is, going to these Quran courses. I mean, Dr. Umar, is starting Ramadan program. Go for that. There is Yaqeen Institute. There is Noman Ali Khan. There is Dr. Haifa. We are so blessed. We have millions of beautiful, excellent scholars. Any tips for productive Ramadan? I mean, again, focus on the prayers. I mean, the productive is, engage as much as you can, overcome your fears. I mean, overcome what is limiting you. And, and let's not, make Ramadan all about, your struggles, make it more. And inshallah, try to get through that. And the productive tips are, I mean, there is a Ramadan guide, which was really released in 2015. I mean, I strongly encourage you to read that because it has everything, everything, honestly, because it wasn't a, random, guide, I thought came into my mind and, we put it together. No, it was actually, it was about the people and what they were struggling with, and it wasn't just, paying a lip service to someone, it's there for a reason. So it has many, many, honestly, tips. Even, when you are going through the anxiety, it has exercises, it has a meditation. So my productive tips are, follow their guide. It will even teach you about the charity and everything, inshallah. Um, okay, so my husband doesn't understand why I'm not fasting. I look healthy. I'm not pregnant. I struggle explaining this to him. I mean, I find it really like odd when people are like, why are you not fasting? I mean, it's none of your business why someone is not fasting. So, please do refrain from asking that question because it is rude. But if they do ask, please do tell them not everybody fasts in the month of Ramadan. I mean, yes, you look healthy, but, you have your reasons. If he has a limited understanding, please ask him to go and speak to the imam and get the imam to back you up. I mean, that will, honestly, he will go silent. This is something which always works. Send them to the mosque and get imam to be on your side and he will be on your side. Honestly, I guarantee you that. Can a person with eating disorder enter a 10 full day itikaf? Okay, itikaf is the last 10 days of Ramadan, when people enter, it's a full, complete seclusion. Okay, I will be very honest, not by yourself, by in your room, because remember, like Ramadan, people say the shaitan is locked up, but what is inside you is there. Your ED is there, so don't take the risk. But if you can enter, nothing in the world can limit you. So if you want to enter itikaf in a mosque, but with someone who knows you, who understands you, who's there with you. Because if you are by yourself, honestly, I'm telling you, it is very, very difficult. Your mind plays games on you. It sounds very, very beautiful, but because we do have mental challenges, so let's not sugarcoat them. And your mind does start playing games on you. So I would never say by yourself. I would definitely say in mosque, because it's a beautiful setting. You're with so many women, and your dietary needs are fully taken care of. Okay, I have. Okay, for a person with eating disorder, Ramadan in a Muslim or non-Muslim country is hard. Do you find Ramadan easier in the UK or in a Muslim country? As I said to you, I always fasted in a non-Muslim country. My first complete Ramadan in a Muslim country was in Saudi Arabia last year, and I told you that it was a bit difficult for me personally. But it was like you are united in the spirit of Ramadan, so it is very, very easy. So in a non-Muslim country, if you're not fasting and you go out, you want to eat or something, like no one is going to raise eyebrows or anything. So, you're kind of concealed, from all of that. So I think Ramadan uh, it's a difficult question to answer. This is the first time I'm going to experience Ramadan in Pakistan, and it's different. It's different. So let's see. I think maybe in a Muslim country it's more easier, but then the people who are Muslims who have always lived in a Muslim country, they tell me it's so difficult because it's in your face, it's there 24/7. But then people who live in a non-Muslim country, they wish for the Ramadan to they wish for that spirit and this anyway. I have no sport. How to get sport? Okay. You can get in contact with us. You can get a therapist who can support you in Ramadan. Once a week. Honestly, it's available. Speak to your local imam and his wife, and because in Ramadan the mosques are open and people are really out there. In Pakistan, we have so many institutes like Al Khuda, Nur al, everything is there. Everybody is kind of there for you. There are WhatsApp groups. So ask to get one-to-one support, and you will, inshallah. Ask someone in your family to step in, and if they don't understand, put them in touch with us. We will explain how they can support you. It's so expensive. What should I do to get help? It's honestly, I understand the ED help is so horrifically expensive. This is why, we want to have a center which offers, everything at no cost. And, because, you should never be making money out of suffering of people. And so I know, but I will also tell you it's not really expensive. I mean, please do get in touch with us. I swear we can make it happen. This is something I have learned, that, nothing can limit you. Okay. So you are above everything, and your recovery, your well-being really, really matters. Okay. So to finish it off, I mean, I have to say, yeah, please, if you need help, please do get in touch. I mean, there are so many other questions, about the food, about the perfect, portions. I really don't want to answer these questions, because the answers are all there. They are in a Ramadan guide. And somebody asked me about, the recipes which are there. I used to volunteer for an organization. I used to be sent on these courses, which were enrichment. I mean, I forgot the name of the institute. I mean, it was in Surrey, in Richmond, Institute Optimum Healing Nutrition, whatever, who cares. So anyway, they honestly, their recipes, everything was, there was a reason why they used to have those courses, because they were designed to benefit your body and your mind and your soul. So those, recipes, they are not random recipes. They come with a reason. I mean, I was volunteering for a cancer organization, and we used to get patients who used to, after the chemo, they had like no strength. So, everything was designed, to provide the vital nutrients and, to make the body healthy. So this is the reason why I put all those recipes out there. And wheatgrass synergy in Ramadan is excellent. Honestly, if you can get that, oh my God, you don't even need to go for endless cups of coffee. I mean, have that, before you go for your Taraweeh Salah, and it's excellent. And another thing is, someone said to me, how do you stop a binge, from happening in Ramadan? I mean, as I said to you, the tips are in the Ramadan guide. Take a full tablespoon of black seed oil. Once you have finished eating, that will mark an end to your meal, but it will also prevent you from going for the next thing. And this is honestly, it's like the black seed oil comes from the Islam, and so it is really, really, really good for you. So it will stop the binge, inshallah. And another thing is, I mean, focus on if you are not fasting, I am being very honest. Someone said, I feel really guilty when my mother has to sit with me. I mean, I want to know, why are you feeling guilty? Because your mother is getting the blessings of, doing a good deed. You shouldn't be feeling guilty. This is in your mind. And, and then someone said, but, how can I eat when others are not eating? I mean, honestly, I come from the UK. Everyone is eating in front of you. I mean, you have to go for these, weekly shoppings, and the food court is full with people. I mean, they're not going to stop eating. So, and when you go to the hospital, there are people who are not well. I mean, the nurses in the Muslim countries, they have to feed them. They can't say to the patients, oh, you know what, don't eat. They have to make sure they eat. So, they will serve them. They will make sure they eat. So, don't feel guilty. Honestly, it simply comes from what is inside you. And the third thing is, the anorexia and bulimia, uh, making this Ramadan about anorexia and bulimia. No, this is not about anorexia. This is not about Ramadan, bulimia. This is or any other kind of eating disorder. This is about you and your spiritual journey. And I'm being very honest. The reality is very, very harsh, and the harsh reality is, we more than anyone else, I mean, more than the normal people who don't have this illness, we are really, really exposed to our real self in the Ramadan. We are exposed to our habits in a way which normal people are not exposed to. They can simply get through the Ramadan. Maybe the mother's concern is, oh, I can't get enough Quran reading in, but her focus is more on getting through the day, with the children and making the meals. But look at us, what our challenges are. I mean, for example, even with the food, it exposes you to your food habits. So see this as a blessing. Honestly, see this as a beautiful opportunity, where you are taught about your inner self, and you are getting this inner knowledge about who you really are. And the one who gets to know themselves gets to know their Rabb. And the help is out there, honestly. These female scholars, we are so blessed. They are there for you. You can message them. You can easily get one-to-one support, but you have to be very, very honest. And about engaging in behaviors. If they come because they are not in your because it happened. Honestly, forgive yourself, take a next step forward, and start all over again, and keep repeating. Keep like making your intention, renewing your intention. Don't just give in and follow. And the last thing is, someone said, sorry, this is the last question because I don't have. She said, I mean, I'm not fasting, but this Ramadan, because I suffer from the ED, but I also smoke, and if I want to fast, I know I can fast, but I choose not to fast because I simply cannot go to without my cigarettes. I mean, and she said the last Ramadan she kept on breaking her fast. She kept on having the cigarette breaks, so she wasn't eating, but she was drinking because she was dehydrated because of the smoking, and she was having cigarettes. I mean, now, I mean, sister, I mean, come on, let's be really, really, really real. I mean, this is a complete killing. I mean, if ED kills, then the cigarette kill. I mean, it says on the pack of every cigarette, smoking kills. I mean, there are so many, and and in Islam, I mean, our new ruling is it's forbidden. It's not even makruh anymore because it has an impact on your health. So you're really going through towards the destruction. Maybe fasting in this situation is better for you, but you don't have to smoke, and you're not damaging your lungs and everything. So I think maybe focus, give yourself a gift this Ramadan, and go for like a stop smoking program, and really like actively participate in that, and like really understand what you're doing is completely damaging you. I have to go. I really want to say I'm so sorry. I didn't plan the event because I really don't have the time right now. And about the questions on Pakistan, and why I'm here, and all the other questions, I will answer them sometimes in the future. But this session, I really wanted to make it about the questions, and I really encourage you, please see the Ramadan guide. Your answers are there, and you still have more on questions. Please get in touch. Honestly, there are people, we have them on our list, who want to help you. So if you don't go for the help this Ramadan, then it's your own problem. This is your decision. So please don't allow anything to limit this Ramadan for you, okay? Because it's in your hands. You're in the power. You were created to rule the world. You were not created for these things to control you, for them to rule you or anything, okay? Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.